All right, so this is part 2 of Introduction to Functions. We're going to talk about evaluating functions and domain and range. So the first thing I want to talk about is functions. We already talked about how to tell if something is a function, but what exactly is, what does that even mean? So I want you guys to picture, I always use this, a soda machine. All right, we all go to our vending machine, right? Now when we have a soda machine, we're going to talk about inputs and outputs. We're going to try to make that a little bit more clear. So when you go to a soda machine, what do you have to do to get your soda out? You have to input money, right? Once I input money, I can choose what soda I want, and then what happens? It outputs my soda. Okay? So a function works just like that machine. We're going to have a function, and we're going to input our x values or our independent values. Okay, these are going to be independent because does it matter if I put a 5 or a 20 into a soda machine? No, I'm still going to get my soda as long as it was enough money, right? Okay, so those are your inputs, your x values or your independent variable. And once we input that, what's the machine going to spit out? It's going to spit out our output or our y value, or we can call it our dependent. I don't know why I can never spell that. Dependent variable. Okay, so x's are independent, y's are dependent. Those are terms you're going to hear a lot in some science classes. So this does kind of transfer into other classes here. All right, so there's your domain and range. What did we talk about for domain and range? We talked about our x's, or our independent, our inputs, are our domain, and our y's, our outputs, or our dependent variable, is our range. Okay? So domains are with the x's, ranges are with the y's. Okay, so let's talk about functions. Let's start with evaluating. I'm going to give you a couple different functions. Now we're going to look at this with function notation. So we're kind of used to having an equation where it's a variable equals 2x plus 3, something like that. Well, instead of having the y, what we're going to do is we're going to call that f of x, or g of x, j of x, r of x. It can be named anything because each function is going to represent a different machine that we're inputting into. Okay, so I want you guys to get used to function notation. So f of x we're going to have as 3x plus 4. G of x we're going to have as x over 2 plus 3. And h of x we're going to have as negative 2x minus 1. So now let's go ahead and start evaluating functions. So what's that going to look like? Okay, that's going to look like this. So f of 1. Nope, let's do 3. F of 3. Now, f of 3, what am I going to do with that? Well, what does this 3 take place of? If we look at our f of x, the 3 replaces the x. This 3 is your x value or your input. So we're going to take that 3 and we're going to put it into the function. If my f of x is normally 3x plus 4, I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to input it into the x. Okay, and then we can evaluate it, which means simplify it. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then we have 9 plus 4 is 13. So my 13 is my output or my y value. Okay, let's try another one. So the second one, h of negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 replaces what? The x value or our input. Okay, or our x, however you want to look at that. So if h is normally negative 2x minus 1, we're going to replace the x with the negative 1. So negative 2 times negative 1 minus 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 would be 2 minus 1, so we get 1. Okay? All right, so let's do one that's a little bit different. Let's do g of x equals 10. Well, now, what's that 10? that 10 is equal to g of x. Is it our x value? No, because our x value would have gone right here. That would have been our input. So this is our output. So if g of x is normally x over 2 plus 3, and I tell you that g of x equals 10, I'm going to take that 10, I'm going to snatch that 10, and I'm going to put it in for g of x. So I have 10 equals x over 2 plus 3. Okay, let's go ahead and solve. So I'm going to subtract 3 from each side to get my variable alone. And then I'm going to multiply each side by 2 since that 2 is dividing. So I get 14 equals x. And that would be my input. So you can work backwards still from these. It's just like plugging and chugging, okay? Just pay attention to whether it's giving you the x value or it's giving you the output, the y value, the g of x, however you want to look at that, okay? I want you guys to try this one. So you guys try f of -4 and see what you get. Go ahead and pause and try that. Okay, so you're not always going to be given equations. Sometimes with functions, you're going to be given a table or a graph. So let's say that we are given this whoa, that is an ugly line. Try again. Let's say we're given this lovely table. We have x, y. Actually, instead of y, let's do function notation, we'll do f of x. So my inputs and my outputs. Okay, so we're going to have -3, 9, -1, 12, 0, 3, 2, -2, and 4, 1. And then we're going to have our g of x over here, our other function, and it's going to be a graph. So here's our lovely graph, and we're going to make this beautiful line. Okay, so there's our line. All right, now we're going to still evaluate functions, and we're going to kind of try to tie these topics together. So for my next problem, we're going to do f of 2. What's that going to be equal to? Well, f of 2, that would be when my x is 2. So go to the table, because the table represents the f of x function. And we need to find when x is 2. So go to your x column, and here's 2. So there's my input. Now what's my output? -2. And there you go. Okay, try another one. We're going to do g of 1. Well, where's g function? Here's the g function up here in the graph, right here. Okay, this 1 is my input, which is my x value. Remember, your x's are side to side, your y's are up and down. So where is x1? X is 1 right here. Well, if I look down, I don't ever hit a line. If I look up, where do I hit that line? Right here. So where are we? About 1, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 3.5. So we have 3.5. Okay, let's do another one. So number 6. G of -2. Okay, so well, my g graph again is the graph. My g function is the graph. So this is my x value, or my input. So I'm going to go to x equals -2, and I'm going to see where I hit the line. Where do I hit the line? At 1, 2. So my y value is 2, or my output is 2. Okay, you guys try this one. Pay attention to which function it gives you. We're going to do f of -1. Go ahead and find your output. All right, now we're going to talk about domain and range. So let's tie this all together. So we said that domain goes with our x's, range goes with our y's. So the first one that I'm going to give you, what number is this? 7? All right, so number 7, we're going to go with 3, 4, 2, -6, 5, 7, 9, -12. Now let's talk domain and range. At the beginning of the notes, we said domain was our x values. We said range was our y values. Okay? Sometimes they're going to be listed. Sometimes it's going to be an actual range, like 5 to 7 or 5 to 12. Okay, and then we're also going to tell, is it a function or not? So we're going to practice that from the first video. So, domain, we're looking at our x values. This is a list of points. So all we have to do is list them. Okay, I'm going to put them in order. So my smallest is 2, 3, 5, 9. There's your domain. Those are your x values. Now look at your range, which are our y values. Remember, y is always the second number in the point. So we have 4, if we want them in order, let's try that again. I forgot. -6, 4, oh my goodness gracious, we have a -12 too. See, pay attention to your negatives. -12, -6, 4, and 5. So there's your range. Is it a function? Well, if it's a function, our x's cannot repeat. If I look at my x values, 3, 2, 5, 9, they don't repeat. So is it a function? Yes. Okay, so that's if it gives you a list of points. Sometimes it'll give you a table. Okay, so here's our x, here's our y's. So we have -9, 12, 2, 15, 7, -2, -3, 9, and 2, 8. Okay, so we have domain, range, and then is it a function? So domain, what was the domain? The domain were the x values. So we have -9, -3, 2, I have 2 listed twice, so I'm just going to list it once, and 7. My range are my y values. I have -2, 8, 9, 12, and 15. Okay, these are our x's, these are our y's. Function, is it a function? Well, if I look over here at my x's, my 2's repeat. So is it a function? No. Okay, so you can also, let's tie this in with a graph. You can do domain and range from a graph. You're going to see this a lot more in Algebra 2, but we're going to kind of look at it now. We might practice it a little bit, but we're not going to hit it real hard. Okay, so here is a line segment. So we have our domain, our range, and then is it a function? So domain is our x values. Now when you do it from a graph, if it's a line instead of just a bunch of points, we have a range of numbers, okay? Because we have all those little decimals between the whole numbers. So my x is going to be bigger than one number, smaller than another number. My y for my range is going to be bigger than one number, smaller than the other number. So let's look at our x's. If we come over here to the table, what's the smallest x value? I'm going to put an orange line there. I don't go to the left of that. So my smallest x value is, here's 0, 0, 1, 2. So -2. X is going to be bigger than -2. Okay. What's my biggest x value? Be right here with the dotted orange line. How far over did we go? 1, 2, 3. So x is going to be between -2 and 3. Bigger than -2, smaller than 3. It's everything between. Now let's look at our range. Our range is our y's. What's the smallest y value? Well, I don't go under this dotted blue line, so how far down is that? 1, 2. So we have -2 as our smallest y value. And then it goes all the way up to this guy right here. Well, how far up did we go? 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of my y's are between -2 and 4 on that y-axis. Is it a function? Use your vertical line test. Are you ever touching 2 points at the same time? No. So is it a function? Yes. Okay, so there's your domain and range. We are going to practice that. Before we finish this video, I want you to try one on your own. I'm going to give you a list of points: 9, 2, 8, 6, -4, 9, 6, 2, 9, 1. I want you to tell me the domain, the range, and then whether it's a function or not. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try that one on your own. And you have now completed the second day, or part 2 of Introduction to Functions. So we are going to practice a bunch, make sure we know how to do this, and I hope you guys have a great day.